JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a series that at least needs no introduction on this channel and in the world of manga. And one of its parts, Steel Ball Run, stands tall with its critical acclaim. Celebrated for its complex characters, compelling narrative, and just some of the best art I've ever seen in JoJo. Steel Ball Run isn't just another part. It's an extraordinary work of storytelling that has just secured its place at the top of the manga world. And while some websites like My Anime List have suffered from review bombing in general, which would skew the overall score of a lot of things and maybe potentially the part, Steel Ball Run still finds itself at the top with the other hard hitters of the manga world. If you have a friend who's caught up on JoJo, one of the main things they'll tell you is, yo, like, you have got to get to Steel Ball Run. But why is that? Now, for a quick moment, you, the potential viewer, I'm not putting you on blast here, but there are a lot of people who don't read JoJo in specific. They watch but don't read, and a lot of people out there might be using this video as their recommendation to get themselves to read it, or maybe get someone else to read it. So because of that, I'll be using a synopsis like description style, so I will not be spoiling you. But knowing YouTube recommendations and Twitter in general, you've probably already been spoiled, but I'm still not going to do it. If you do happen to want a longer video that goes in depth with Steel Ball Run, you know, just interact with the video in whichever way possible that you find, and I'll know to make a video for it. One of the things that elevates Steel Ball Run above its contemporaries, at least, is its dynamic roster of complex characters. Let's just consider the two franchise hitters, Johnny Joestar and Gyro Zeppeli. I guess it's Gyro and not Euro like the thing. Anyways, Johnny Joestar is different from your everyday manga protagonist, I'd say. Former jockey, he's a character just riddled with flaws and imbued with genuine human emotions that make him relatable. And I don't mean the simple happy, mad, or sad. He's riddled with guilt, looking for a reason to be hopeful, and he's also amorally selfish. He's not on a journey to save the world. His motivations are deeply personal, and it just makes his character arc intriguing and, you know, again, compelling. His evolution as a character forms the entire backbone of Steel Ball Run, and each step of his journey is just carefully constructed to reveal these different facets of his personality. Oh, wait. This isn't the sponsor part, y'all. I made a short story, and you can read it on the Saturday AM app for free, you know, if you wanted to check it out. Got this art piece made by FS Art on here, you know, it's kind of hard, I'm just saying, but yeah. Appreciate the support if you do, you know. As for Gyro Zeppeli, he contrasts Johnny and brings this different energy to the table. His charm and just all around the reasons why you would like him, the mystery to surround him and add this, I don't want to keep using the word compelling, but compelling layer to the story. His family's line of work affects his motivations and how he functions as a character, but, you know, if I speak too much on that, I'd be spoiling. His dynamic with Johnny, the banter, the disagreements, the companionship forms the cornerstone of their relationship, I'd say. It fosters this emotional investment from the readers and brings a fresh perspective to the series. So if you're looking for similarities that do make sense, do you notice what Joestars do for other characters? You know, like from Jonathan all the way to Jolene, every Joestar is known to improve the lives of everyone around them vastly. Like, it's just largely different from how they lived originally, and they improve it all the way. What happened here is that we're now flipping the script with Johnny's life being so much more improved by Gyro, and, you know, on the opposite side of the spectrum, the more evil areas, we have one of the series' most terrifyingly intriguing, interesting, yet just downright nasty, detestable characters you've just ever seen. Funny Valentine. In many cases, some people have villains who are their he just like me character, you know, they're just like me. And I don't think that Funny Valentine is one of them. And that's great. That's actually really good, because he serves as the president of the United States in Steel Ball Run. And his character is this refreshing change, this departure from traditional manga villain stereotypes. And I think what sets Valentine apart is his sense of patriotism. Like, that's the main thing with him. Unlike other villains who pursue their goals out of self-interest, just I want to control everything, a desire for control, Valentine's motivation stems from this deeply ingrained belief in the country, or more so in the destiny of his country. I'm not gonna say that he's just this morally great character because he does what he does because he thinks he's doing the right thing, because in that description alone you won't be surprised, as I'm sure that you can think of a couple of characters that thought that they were doing good but they do a lot of harm because of it, you know, even Maruchi off the top of my head. But what I can say about Valentine is that he's one of those characters who can do a pretty good job with just talking. This ability to sway someone's line of thinking to just help get his goals going. You're not very surprised that he's the president, or just even surprised that he's a politician to begin with. Steel Ball Run also has this amazing, just straight up phenomenal lineup of secondary characters with their strong involvement, or just strong amount of involvement in the story. But I guess you can only really take my word on that without spoiling it. Now, here's what I'll say about where it's placed in JoJo and on whether or not you'd like it. If you like part 1, 2, sort of 3, 4, 5, and 6, then you'll enjoy 7. That's just the case. The only reason why I say sort of 3 is that it just depends on what type of viewer that you are. And if you're more centered around the more shonen-esque tropes, and you're not about story and characters and all that, then you won't like 7, especially some of the slow burn areas of it. I know that there are a lot of part 2-ish and part 3 fans that look at the other JoJo parts like, oh, they're not tough enough. Where's the scrapping? I need more fights. You know? And this demographic exists. I don't expect them to start enjoying story for the first time with part 7, regardless of how good it is. The next point is, what does Steel Ball Run have over the JoJo parts? Here's the thing. A lot of what's said about Steel Ball Run, it's said as if almost all of the other Joestars don't have it, and all the other JoJo parts don't have it. Like, it's non-existent. And that isn't true. This isn't the first time a Joestar has been interesting, and it isn't the first time the writing has been good in a JoJo part. No one is going to tell you to start at part 1 and get all the way to part 7 because they're like, oh, that's where the good stuff starts. That'd be ridiculous. There's a bunch of good in JoJo. The fight choreography is another, you know, huge thing, but there are a bunch of great fights throughout JoJo that I personally love, and I do think that they would contend very well in the grand scheme. But Steel Ball Run has some great consistency, and there's for sure been talk about the pace at the beginning. That's for other people in general and all that, but Steel Ball Run is excellent all around. It's just been paraded around longer than the good discussions about the other parts. For example, Golden Wind was originally plagued by bad translations. A lot of people are going to be like, oh my god, get over it, but that's just the case. It was, and because of that, it has affected largely about how Golden Wind was originally perceived. And until the anime adaptation, most of the fandom had been told to not even bother with it because of how messed up everything was in the translations. And because how I could describe Steel Ball Run as a part that just dives into the complex emotions and relationships of humanity, going over themes of guilt, hope, redemption and the pursuit of one's goals. Oh my god, it's amazing. While it is, that's also Golden Wind, and there are other parts in JoJo that they do that in other areas too. Enrico Pucci is a good villain. That's one of those things that just exists. That's the case. So I won't say that, oh, this is where the writing is good and stuff like that. No. I will say it is very consistent and it's great all around. That's why. Alongside that too, in this case, the role of the minor antagonists in Steel Ball Run do stick harder in a lot of ways compared to, there's a lot of areas in JoJo where it's just like, oh man, the minor antagonists are a bit weaker. They do stick harder because of said nuance that Steel Ball Run does add to everything. And the stakes could be argued to be higher in Steel Ball Run. Every action, every mistake has a rippling effect, and it just creates a tangible sense of tension, and it goes everywhere, and urgency, and like as if it has to happen. The part isn't just entertaining, it's introspective, compelling. Again, I'm sorry for using the word, that's the first thing that comes to mind, but it's amazing. In summary, Steel Ball Run stands as a testament to the raw ability of Hirohiko Araki. Oh, that's his pen name. I found that out like recently. That's a pen name. It's not even his name. But the raw ability of Hirohiko Araki as a storyteller. It's as if everything Araki has ever learned has been put into a JoJo part. At least that's what a lot of people believe. And I do think that's true. But again, I also like a lot of areas of the other parts because I do think that they do that also. Araki says he put his heart into Golden Wind, and part 6 like made him cry. Granted, he probably cries at a lot of his parts. They're pretty good. And I just think that Steel Ball Run, and it's not even me, it's critically, that's what the stats are. Steel Ball Run is probably just the most consistent for the masses. That being said, I'd like every type of JoJo fan that hasn't read to read Steel Ball Run with, an open mind. There's so much that this part brings to the table. It's so much more than another adventure to get to the end goal of this thing. And it's just this ride that brings together and just encapsulates the best of JoJo and the essence of storytelling in manga. Simply put, peak fiction, raw swag. I don't know what else I can probably say about that, but yeah, thank you all for watching. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace out and Godspeed.